So, this is gonna be a video of my top 20 favorite TV shows that I compiled a list. I've never really thought about it before, exactly what my top 10 or top 20 shows would be. I've always sort of known my top 3, but beyond that I've never really ranked them, so this was kind of interesting to do. And it probably should be taken with a grain of salt as well, because I feel like, do I necessarily like, number 7 more than number 8? I'm not sure, maybe, but there was something that made me put them the way I did, so I guess there's some sort of explanation here. This is a request video actually by Drax007. I actually asked for requests in a video recently, so I got a couple requests in the comments, and this was one of them. And I decided to extend it from top 10, which he wrote, to top 20 because it was too difficult only with 10. Because I love TV shows so much that I just had to I had to give 20 of them credit. I mean, I just couldn't think of only 10. I mean, there's obviously a top 10 on this list, but excluding some of the ones on the top 11 to 20, if that makes sense, it didn't feel right. I love some of them so much as well. Anyway, yeah. So that's that really. I know you're not a big fan of comedy, Drax. But I am, so there's gonna be a lot of comedy here, so a bit of a disclaimer. Not only comedy, there's some other stuff too, but I love comedy, so yeah. Anyway, top 20, let's get started. And yeah, I just decided to do a point of view shot here. I could have been sitting in front of the camera, maybe it would have made more sense, but felt like doing it this way for now. But anyway, and then we can have a look at the DVDs as well. But How I Met Your Mother is number 20. Yeah, I have all of these. I mean, unless otherwise stated, I guess I have all of these shows. Actually, for most of them I do have all of the seasons. But anyway, yeah, I love this show. 8 seasons. I guess the first 4 would have to be the best ones. If season 5 and 6, and they're pretty good, but it does get weaker with season 5, I wanna say. But if the second half of the series would have been as good, then maybe this would have been higher. But I do remember liking this. I bought it at a store, not really knowing if this was a show that I was gonna like. I mean, I loved comedy back then too, but I just hadn't gotten the impression that this was one of those shows that I was gonna love. But I was wrong. I really enjoyed watching this. I've seen the whole show, of course, and then I've seen, a few years ago, I rewatched the first 4 seasons, which I'm sure I will do again at some point. Number 19. This one is not one of the absolute best shows of all time. It's just not really a guilty pleasure, but it's a show that is so much fun to watch, and I actually rewatched some Christmas episodes before Christmas, a couple of days before Christmas, to get in the mood, in the spirit. And this is Everybody Loves Raymond, season 1, a pretty corny show, but I feel like it's very aware of what it's doing. I mean, I think Ray Romano is aware that he's pretty corny. I don't know. I just like this show a lot. It's such a feel-good sitcom, family sitcom. Yeah, Ray and Deborah, they live across the road from their parents, and that of course causes some trouble once in a while. It's just a fun sitcom. Number 18 will have to be the latest addition to this list, which of course is a list that I've never made before, but this is the show that I've gotten to love most recently, for sure. Actually, less than a year ago I bought this, and this is Peep Show. I just happen to have the first 6 series in this box set here. Recently watched the 9th and final series. I actually had a dream that there was a 10th series. I don't know. I guess that means I want to see more. But yeah, I did have a dream recently that it was not over. But unfortunately, it is over. But this is such a great show. Point of view show. I mean, if you don't know the show, you rarely see these two guys on screen at the same time, although they're roommates. How does that work? Well, because it's a point of view shot. You see, the camera is basically people's eyes. Well, not basically, it is people's eyes. You never see a camera outside of the gaze of people. I mean, you know what I mean. It's yeah. So basically, like I'm doing here, you see people's hands like this. They're doing stuff. So if someone is alone, I mean, say there are sequences where someone is on the bus or someone is doing something on their own, it's kind of hard to convey to the audience what is happening if you only see the point of view shot. But then they just solve that by simply having someone else on the bus looking at them, and then you get that shot from that angle. So it's a pretty ingenious show. They have to be pretty creative with how they pull certain things off, you know, technically speaking or whatever, but also just the script and the characters, and you hear the people's thoughts. Absolutely brilliant stuff. I really do love this show. It did take me a few episodes, maybe even a full series or something, to really get into it, which is interesting because I just ended up loving it so much later. It's yeah, such a creative show. Now, I said that Everybody Loves Raymond is not a guilty pleasure. Well, this next show is definitely one of them. Ever since I saw this for the first time in, I don't know, 2008, 9, I have considered it one of my favorite shows, and it is, although it's on number 17, pretty high, I mean, low on the list, but I do love this show, and I'm afraid to say that that show is Desperate Housewives. This is season 8 just because I have season 1 of all the other shows, but this is season 8 because I have them stacked in my closet, and there's a bunch of heavy books in front of them, and I can barely open the closet anyway, so I just grabbed the one on top. Anyway, who cares? Yeah, I don't know. I think it might have been my sister who got me into this show, and I bought season 1 of a DVD, and I fell in love with it. To be honest, I really like this show. Such great quirky characters. It does get a little bit ridiculous. I mean, it kind of is ridiculous from the start. I mean, already with the title, maybe you kind of know what you're in for. It's kind of tongue-in-cheek, kind of aware of what it's doing, like I said with Everybody Loves Raymond, but still it does get a little bit over the top with some of the drama. It's like a soap opera at times, of course, but I like that. You know, it kind of works with this show. Yeah. Yeah, okay, Desperate Housewives. Number 16 is one of the first shows that I really started watching that wasn't comedy, that I really ended up liking and became not obsessed with, but that I just couldn't stop watching. And that show is Prison Break. This is season 1, of course, and I recently found season 4 at a second-hand store, and I haven't watched it again, but I was happy to do so because I have rewatched the first 3 seasons pretty long time ago now as well. And season 4, I'm gonna watch that again before the new series comes out, and I'm gonna watch the movie, of course, as well, which I haven't seen either, because season 4 I never actually finished it because I didn't like it too much. But season 1 and 2 is just some of the best drama I've seen on TV. Great characters, and I'm even inclined to say that I like season 2 more, which is, I just love the whole on the run thing. But yeah, great show. Yeah, I feel it's a little bit odd to put it higher than Desperate Housewives now, but like I said in the beginning, it's hard to rank some of these. Point is, I love all of them. Anyway, yeah, so have I talked about the actual show? Not too much. Well, it's just great suspense, great stuff. Yeah, obviously since I didn't finish season 4, that means it went downhill pretty quickly, and I didn't love all of it, but I'll just put these over here. But I do love the first and second one in particular. Third season I like it a lot as well. And like I said, I will be watching the full 4th season and the movie before the new series comes out. Okay, I'm only on season, on number 15, and yeah, okay. I didn't expect to talk this much. Anyway, 15, Futurama. Yeah, there's gonna be a few animated shows on this list. This is just really, I don't know what to say about it. It's such a clever show. Some of these episodes are just, they create such an extensive world. Obviously it takes place on I should know this. Does it take place on Earth? Yes, it does. New York City. That's just ridiculous that this is one of my favorite shows. I don't even know if it's on Earth. But anyway, it just kind of doesn't feel like it is, because it sort of feels like we're in space, and because they travel to different planets, they're in space a lot. and it's just a different world, even though it's on Earth. So I don't really, it doesn't feel like when I watch this show, somehow in my mind, Earth, when the planet we're on, is at a different place in space. If that makes sense, I just kind of visualize it that way without really thinking about it. So anyway, I don't see Earth when I watch this show, because it doesn't really feel like it. It's 2,000 years in the future, 1,000 years, sorry, and it's just great comedy, sci-fi, intergalactic adventure with humor. Anyway, 14, another animated show, South Park. Great stuff. I recently watched season 15, and I do think that it doesn't necessarily go downhill. It's still a fun show, but I would say that I did enjoy watching, I don't know, up until season 10-ish, maybe, the most. I mean, some of these episodes, I mean, you know, Trey Parker, I mean, genius is a strong word, but he's something, he's up there, you know, with the geniuses. I mean, I'm guessing he's the creative mind of this show. Matt Stone is, of course, billed as the creator with Trey Parker, but I've just gotten the impression that Trey Parker is definitely the main creative force behind this. And they kind of hint at that too in the documentary for Human Centipede for season 15. But anyway, I love this show. I actually only seen it once. I got into this show pretty comparatively recently. Well, I mean, it's been a few years, 3 years maybe. Anyway, but I really like it a lot, and I am looking forward to rewatching this show. I mean, there's so much to go. I mean, season 16, 17, and 18 are out on DVD, and then I think they plan on making 22 seasons, you know, in total. So I have several to go, but still, whenever I will get around to rewatching that show, it's gonna be a good day. Anyway, 13, even more comedy. Mr. Bean. This is just the first DVD out of 3, which has the whole series on, you know, over these 3 DVDs. I've had these for longer than I have collected DVDs. Okay, that didn't make much sense. But I've had these I started collecting in 2008, and I've had these for longer than that. So I bought these early on. Yeah, Rowan Atkinson as Mr. Bean, just one of my favorite characters growing up, and maybe still. Just some of these episodes, I mean, it's just, not much happens, to be honest, but what Rowan Atkinson manages to do with these kind of mundane situations, in a way, I mean, some of them are over the top, of course, but what he does with them, it's just incredible. So, Mr. Bean. 12, even more animation. Family Guy. I bought this season when I was with my dad grocery shopping, kind of randomly, and I decided, yeah, I'm gonna buy Family Guy season 1, and this was in 2008 or something, and ever since I've loved it. So there you go. But anyway, yeah, just such a great show. Not as good anymore, but I still love watching it, and I will be getting season, is it 14? Well, it's volume 14 or maybe 15 on DVD. Was recently released. We'll get that eventually, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, some of these episodes, it's not necessarily the writing. I mean, it's the characters. I mean, of course, that's part of the writing, but just the characters and how they interact with each other, and I mean, some of Stewie's lines in the early season just had me crack up more than I ever had before watching anything, except for maybe the first show here on the list, which I will get to soon. But anyway, Family Guy, I need to be maybe a bit quicker with these. Well, anyway, I might not be that much quicker. We'll see. But anyway, 11, Monty Python's Flying Circus. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Just now my voice is going out too for some reason. But this is, I mean, they just really reinvented comedy, didn't they? Late 60s. They're still around today too. Some, you know, doing stuff, not really regularly, but you know, that's pretty impressive that, 45 years later, they did a live show. And they're still funny, but of course their prime was back then with the series. And just great absurdist humor that doesn't really have to make much sense. I mean, I get the feeling that, I think, I'm not entirely sure, but I watched The Meaning of Life, the movie, and I think John Cleese on a commentary track or in an interview, I don't know, but he said that, because there are fish swimming around in a fish tank with the python's faces on them, which he kind of was going to explain why they decided to do that, and he said, well, because fish are funny, and that seemed to be the whole reason. Now, I'm not sure if there was another reason why they decided to go with fish and their faces on fish, whatever, but the point is, I get the feeling that a lot of this stuff, it doesn't make sense. They just do it because it's funny. Well, what does it mean? It doesn't mean anything, it's just funny, and I love that. Like the fish slapping scene too. Speaking of fish, just, yeah, in season 3, I think, maybe 2, maybe, there's a fish slapping dance. If you've seen the show, you might know what I'm talking about. And they said that doesn't mean anything at all. It's just funny. I don't know. Yeah, it's a terrific show. Okay, now on to top 10 after 16 minutes. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I have, let's see, season 10 was just released on DVD, which I will be getting soon. But this one I bought. This is the only one that has been released, actually season 1 and 2, the only one that has been released in Sweden or on region 2 as far as I know, which is a shame really, but I've had to import the others. And I would have to say my favorite character in this show is Danny DeVito, and I don't think he appears until season 2. I think season 1 is only with the other 4. Yes. So, but I haven't seen season 1 in quite a while, so I don't really remember any of those episodes. But this is such a fun show, just crazy characters with no morale, really, just doing crazy stuff, and it's just great. I don't know what to say. They own a bar, and it's about the shit that they get up to, and that's it. But sitcoms usually have a simple premise, of course, and this is one of the best sitcoms that I've seen, or one of the best half-hour comedy shows. Yeah, I have only seen this show through to where I'm at now once as well, but eventually, as with South Park, I will be rewatching that and enjoying the hell out of it once again. And I think it's 12 seasons that have been planned. Season 11 is currently airing, and season 12 will be airing after that, so that's great. I have 3 more series to go at least, so that's awesome. Okay, now it's actually, we're gonna take a break with the comedy, and we're gonna talk about Breaking Bad, which obviously I don't really know what I need to say about this. It's a great drama show with Bryan Cranston. I mean, you've all seen it, I'm guessing. I mean, most of you have seen it. It's yeah, I think the highest rated episode on IMDb might be a Breaking Bad episode, Ozymandias. At least it used to be. So if that doesn't tell you something, then well, but this is just a terrific show. I honestly don't feel like I need to talk about it because everybody knows why it's so great. It's just absolutely, I don't know, it's just fucking phenomenal. Okay. Number 8, MASH. This was initially a show that I was pretty skeptical about, or towards, or whatever. I don't know why, but my cousin used to watch this show a lot. I used to visit their summer place, whatever, at the Archipelago in Stockholm, or around Stockholm, and they always watched this, and they watched this when I was at their house as well in southern Sweden, and I just couldn't really get into it. But then I decided to buy the DVD and just give it a chance, a proper chance, and one of the best things I ever did, I think. Well, it's it's a comedy show, a comedy drama that takes place during the Korean War, and it has such a simple but profound message, so brilliantly carried out by all of these fantastic performers here on the cover and many more of them. Namely that, you know, war is hell, but they try to make they try to make the best of it, I suppose. Of course, it's not a strict comedy show. I mean, sometimes they break down. Oh, sorry, it's the medical unit or whatever. I forget what this is an acronym for, but it's Mobile Army Surgical Hospital. So it's like a pretty primitive-looking camp, and soldiers, wounded soldiers from the war, from the front lines and stuff, they get sent to the hospital on the camp or whatever. And Alan Alda and other doctors, they try to patch them up, and it's just such a terrific show that tries to I don't know, bring laughs to a horrible situation, I guess. But it was made during the Vietnam War, I think, and but it's yeah, takes place in the 50s. But it's yeah, I don't know what to say. It's such a great show. I need to change the battery pack because it's blinking, but I'll be right back in a second. Alright, number 7. A show that I recently rewatched at least the first 6 seasons, and that is The Office, the American version. And I gotta say, I like this more than the British one. Maybe because it kept going for longer, for more series, and you have more time to fall in love with the characters, and they have more time to develop. But maybe also because American humor is a little bit more accessible, I guess, in a way. And I'm not saying I don't love the British show, but I prefer this. But yeah, I'm not sure why I opened the case just now. I haven't with any of the other ones. But anyway, yeah, this is such a great ensemble, and the way the chemistry just works so well with this show. Like I said before, I'm going to try to be quicker. I'm actually going to try to, you know, for real this time. Anyway, number 6, Game of Thrones on Blu-ray. Actually, only 1 out of 2 shows here that I have on Blu-ray. But I have season 5 on pre-order, which I'm just so looking forward to watching. But I gotta admit, this is such a complex world in Game of Thrones, and since I only watch, I watch it all in usually about a day or 2 days, and then a year goes by without me watching anything. So, considering how much stuff happens and how complex and layered the show is, I do forget a lot in between the seasons, so I need to catch up every time. So I will need to do that once again. But this is just the most epic thing ever, isn't it? And the theme song, the intro, is one of the most epic things. And I don't know what to say about this show. I mean, Game of Thrones, come on. You know, it's pretty popular these days. People seem to like it. I like it too. It's you know, yeah, Game of Thrones. Number 5, another one that is not comedy, but after that we only have 4 comedy shows left. So, but number 5 is The Sopranos, and I do need to get this on Blu-ray. There is a Blu-ray box set of this, of course, and I bought these a while back, so I just have them on DVD. But yeah, I love this show. I want to rewatch this one. I have been wanting to rewatch this one for a while now, but I decided to wait until I finally get it on Blu-ray and rewatch it that way. But yeah, just I feel like most of the gangster characters, most of the actors who are known for playing gangsters have been in this show. That's what it feels like to me. It's just obviously a gangster show, but I feel like it's so much more than that. It's I don't know, it's like an extension of what Martin Scorsese and I guess Francis Ford Coppola before him did with the gangster genre, and it even builds on it, and it's a TV show, and I don't know, it's just, if you haven't seen this show, then it's something you need to do, and not just before you die. You need to do it now so that you can rewatch it many times before you die. Anyway, yeah, and I've only seen it once, like I said, but I'm of course planning on rewatching this more than once. But it's yeah, I love this show. Now number 4. There's going to be a lot of love for a certain person here with number 4 and number 3, which might very well spoil what number 3 is, but who cares? Number 4, Curb Your Enthusiasm. I bought this in London in HMV. I think this is, well, along with the rest of the DVDs that I bought at HMV in London in 2011. I think this is the only batch of stuff that I've bought somewhere else. I mean, that I haven't bought in Sweden or ordered from Sweden. I don't know if that's interesting. Probably not. But to me, it's kind of like a special DVD just because I bought it in London. Anyway, and then I just loved it, and I bought the rest later. And I rewatched it once, and I sometimes I mean, Larry David is someone who I just can't really get enough of him. Just the way he looks at things and the way he approaches trivial subjects is just brilliant. And so I've rewatched a bunch of clips on YouTube as well now and then, and a bunch of interviews with him. I've re-listened to interviews with him. That's how much I like the man. And I'm really hoping for a 9th season, which did seem unlikely a while back, but then it seemed like people started talking with some optimism about the 9th season. So, still nothing official, but Larry David has more than hinted at it, I feel, and hopefully he'll be back with the 9th season. It has been quite a while now since season 8, but we can only hope. But this, it's Larry David playing himself. Larry David from, who co-created the show Seinfeld. So I'll just make the transition here into number 3. Yeah, so now let's talk about Seinfeld a little bit. Speaking of my cousin, this is a show that she hates. She got me to love MASH, but I can't get her to love Seinfeld. It's just a lost cause. But I love it. I really, I've only seen it. Well, I mean, I used to watch it on TV when it was aired before I bought DVDs, I guess, or before I started collecting DVDs. And then I bought the seasons, and I really enjoyed watching it. And I don't think I've seen it twice on DVD. I think I've just rewatched it from beginning to end the one time. But if I were to pop this in now, I would enjoy watching the whole series again. Of course, it's just there's just so many things to watch. But I could definitely see myself watching this again right now. But I'll get back to it at some point, watching the whole thing again. But yeah, I mean, a great show about nothing is what they usually say, and usually ranked up there as the best sitcom of all time, often as the best TV show of all time. It's just a big time classic. It even says here, the best comedy show of all time. Yeah, good stuff. Number 2, more animation, The Simpsons. I'm so sad still, even though it's been a while since the announcement, that season 18 and further on, except season 20, which was released, of course, before, on the 20th anniversary of the show, will not be released on DVD because it's not beneficial or whatever. They don't make enough money of them, or I don't know. Which I guess they put in a lot of work with these seasons, and I'm guessing it takes a while to do them. But I mean, there's been talk of a company such as Mill Creek to release the rest of the seasons in just cheap sets, but at least so that we can have the episodes on DVD. And they're kind of hard to find too if you don't download, and if you don't feel like watching them when they're aired on TV, which I don't even know what season is aired on TV in Sweden right now. Then I think they're kind of hard to find if you don't live in America, because I think there's a website where you can watch the episodes, but it's restricted to American audiences. I don't know if you can change your IP address somehow. I'm not good at that stuff. But it's really sad that I used to get these seasons every year. One of the best times of the year when I got a new seasons of Simpsons on DVD, and then they just take that away from me. Anyway, it's too bad, but I do hope they change their minds, you know. But anyway, can you hear my voice going out even more now? But anyway, I feel like there's not much for me to say about that show because it's The Simpsons. Oh, god damn it, I haven't even talked for that long. Anyway, number one. Can you guess what it is? I'll give you a few seconds to think about it. I'm not sure if it's obvious, but to me it's obvious. To me it's really obvious because I've watched this show more than I watched anything. And for a long time I used to say things like, it's the best thing I've seen shown on a TV screen ever. And it's the only thing that I would ever give 11 out of 10. Things like that. And I think it's still true, even though I haven't seen this in a few years now. I think I haven't watched this show in a few years, but also I could also mention that even though I haven't watched it in a few years, I still know most of the lines. Well, not most of them, but when I do these Friends trivia quizzes, which I do once in a while, I usually get pretty good results, and they're usually not that difficult. So that just means that I've seen them enough times to remember them always. Well, anyway, Friends. Did I say Friends trivia? I guess I did. Maybe I spoiled it before revealing it. Sorry. Okay. Anyway, Friends on Blu-ray, and this is a shame right here. Anyway, I haven't seen this on Blu-ray. I have only seen. I used to have the bulky DVD box sets, which I just watched into oblivion. I mean, I don't have them anymore. I think my dad has them. I gave them to him, and I don't think anybody ever watched them up there. At their house, but they are up there, so I mean if I were to show them to you, I mean the edges of the DVDs, they're just, I mean there's no color left because I've used them so many times, taking out the discs, putting them back on the shelves. I've just watched this show so much, and yeah, I don't know. I haven't thought about this in a while. I bought season 6 first. I was with my grandma at a grocery store, at the same grocery store where I bought Family Guy season 1. And I was like 13, 14, maybe not even that, maybe 12 or something like that, yeah, I think so. And I had recently found out about the brilliance of Friends on TV, and I decided to, because I think it had been my birthday or something, and she let me choose a few things. And there was a stand of a bunch of Friends seasons, and for some reason I bought season 6 because I didn't really know that I was supposed to buy the first one. I just bought the 6th one because why not? And then after that I think after that I watched season 7, 8, 9 and 10, and then I went back and I watched season 1, and then after that I just kept watching. I mean, then I watched season 1 up to 5. And after that, I just watched kind of random episodes, the ones I felt like watching, and I kept doing that for years, every night before going to bed, and sometimes hours at a time. I'm not kidding. I would watch Friends, just random episodes, because I just couldn't stop watching it. And I think that means I've never seen the show from beginning to end properly. So I will do that someday. But yeah, that's interesting. I've never done that. But anyway. I don't know what to say about this show. It's just I think one of the most beloved shows that there has ever been. One of the most one of the biggest. Anyway, just one of the best shows ever. The best show ever. Obviously, my number one. So, Friends. Everybody might not like it, but a lot of people sure as hell do. So, alright, friends, I'm not gonna dwell on this video too much longer. I need to get my ass to the gym right now, actually. I didn't expect to talk this long about these shows, but I guess, 20 shows, it was gonna be difficult to do that in a shorter amount of time than, what, half an hour? Okay, so yeah, half an hour. That's that. Thank you for the request, Drax007. And yeah, even though you're not a fan of comedy, I hope you enjoyed watching. And to everyone else who watched, hope you enjoyed as well. Leave me comments on these shows, what you think about some of them, or what you could leave comments on. Now I can't speak anymore. I just forgot my grammar. But you can leave comments on your favorite shows in the description if you want to. Not necessarily top 20, but whatever you want to do. But yeah, that's it. So, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.